Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 news video. We got more information about the water buffaloes and we got an interview with a Giant's lead character artist who is producing all those cute animals. And look at this image. Aren't they cute? They are so adorable. I'm completely in love with those little water buffalo babies. But the adult ones are looking very nice too. So, we have the blog article about the water buffaloes. Then we have this interview, how they are done. And we have quite a lot of images about those very, very cute water buffaloes here. Let's see, here we have an adult one. It looks very serene somehow. I really like them. So, but stay with the babies for the time being. Yeah, and now I read all this blog article to you and I tell you my opinion and what I have to say here and there as usual. Okay, let's go on. You like hoofed ruminant mammals? Okay. Yes, I read that, but I haven't been aware that this is a word I don't know at all. I try it again. You like hoofed ruminant mammals? Nice. We add water buffaloes to the ensemble of farm animals. You've already seen them in past trailers and screenshots, but let's take another look at one of the new animal types for Farming Simulator 25. And don't forget to pre-order. You'll find a link in the description below with my partner code. Okay, let's go on. Why water buffaloes are awesome. Strong but low maintenance. And maybe now it's time to go on to this low maintenance animal. Water buffaloes adapt to harsher environments. Hot and humid, no problem. That's why they feel at home in Southeast Asia, for example. Ideal creatures to keep on our new Asian map. In many cultures, they are also significant symbols for prosperity. They are high-performance lawn mowers. Grass-eating animal? Not that special. Unbelievable, but true. In Farming Simulator 25, your fields of grass will be cut by grazing livestock. Not just the water buffaloes. Did you hear this? Did you get it, what that means? And now we go back and have a look. Here you can see the grass is short inside the pasture and outside the grass is very long. So we don't need a mod anymore that the animals are grazing on their pastures. Isn't it awesome? It is only this single sentence, so we don't know any details about this yet. So whether they are completely productive with eating only from the pasture, for example. How much how big should the pasture be that they can be fed completely? How is it in winter? So you see, I have a lot of questions about it. We will find out sooner or later. If we are unlucky at the release, if we are lucky before the release. But this is awesome. Finally, we can have a very big meadow for our cows and sheep and water buffaloes, and I think also horses. When we feed them, they only eat hay, but I think from the meadow they like to eat the grass also. And because then it's really fresh and they don't get bellyache from it. So this is fantastic. I read it again, that you believe it. In Farming Simulator 25, your fields of grass will be cut by grazing livestock. Awesome, awesome. This is really fantastic. And I think it seems only like a small new feature, but for the immersion and the feeling that you have with your animals, it's a big deal, because somehow it was always so unnatural. You could have the biggest meadow and you had to feed your cows this food that you prepared for them, even if they were standing on the meadow the whole day. Only if you, as a PC player, used the mod Grazing Animals, also realism add-on from Modelleicher, and I used this mod quite a lot, because then you had this effect on that the animals eat the grass from the pasture. Yeah, and I'm really happy about it. Here you can also see it. The grass is short and around the meadow it's higher. And here we have even more very cute little water buffaloes. And I guess this is the teenage water buffalo. The young teenage or the big childs, and not the babies, because they have little horns. So, but let's go on. There is more to it, but for me this thing with the grazing is the biggest news today and the most fantastic news. Okay, the buffaloes, they are valuable milk producers. Water buffalo milk is especially rich in fat, protein and minerals, making it ideal for producing dairy products. Maybe we should already go to the dairy products. So we skip those very nice images. We will come back, don't worry. Aren't they cute? And I see this Hermann barn again. So that tells me we will get them again, and I'm quite happy about it. They are very expensive, but they are nice. And here we have the dairy products. We have the buffalo milk and we have the mozzarella. So we will come back to this later. So let's go back. Ooh, look, aren't they cute? Okay, so where are we? They are social, gentle and smart. Despite their size and strength, water buffaloes are generally gentle and social animals. They form strong bonds with their herd and handlers and often show a calm and docile temperament. Yeah, they really look calm. They seem even more calm to me than the normal cows. I love the normal cows, really. Somehow I have, I wouldn't say a connection to them, because I only see them when I'm hiking, and then they are rather far away usually. But somehow I really like them. And yeah, and I think I like those water buffaloes at least as much as the cows. And those calves are so cute. And I think here we see this 3 life stages. The left one is the adult, obviously. And then we have the baby at the front. And at the right side, there is the teenage or the bigger child. And in this blog article, they don't speak about this medium size growth stage of the buffalo. They only speak about babies and the adult ones, but I think there are those 3 stages. So yeah, and about the new products and productions and make some mozzarella, where we come to later again, they cut out the text. We got this blog article already as a very long image, and the text of this area with the no products and productions was missing. So I have to invent something when we come to this. But first, let's read about the age and the reproduction. By the age of 18 months, water buffaloes are matured. That's when they start producing milk and offspring. They also start reproducing, and tiny baby buffaloes will soon appear in your pastures. Look at how cute they are. Yeah, they are really, really cute, adorable. When you buy them from the local animal farmer, you can either get some fresh and cute water buffaloes or strong and mighty ones. She can also give you some more information on how water buffaloes are properly handled on your farm. Okay, so we have the fresh and cute water buffaloes. Yes, I find it somehow funny to call them fresh, but they are fresh from the mother, and they are cute. They are very, very cute. And here they don't tell us about, and you can also buy the child stage or the teenage stage. For me, the second size is not big enough to call them teenagers. So I would rather call them child if I compare it to humans. And there are the baby buffaloes and the child buffaloes and the adult ones. And we don't have a teenage stage. That was different. Okay, we didn't have buffaloes at all in FS25, as far as I know. But with the enhanced animal system, we could have young animals for PC players as a mod. And there we had the babies, the calves, and then we had the heifers, and they are more like teenagers. They look already rather similar to the adult ones, and the heifers, they are ready to get pregnant. And here this child stage is not at all ready to get pregnant, not at all, and it doesn't look like the adult one. It is much closer to the baby stage. Yeah, so let's look at some more of those images, and they still don't say anything about male animals. I think we won't get male animals, apart from the rooster. Obviously, you already have the rooster for quite a while now. But for the other animals, I don't see it coming that we get male ones. And all the water buffaloes that you see here, they all have an udder. Is it called like that? But you know what I mean. They are all female. And I think in an interview I maybe heard something like when somebody was asking, will we get male animals? And it was more like so, not planned, so in this direction. But no definitive answer as far as I know. So here we see them in the barn. So you can also give them total mixed ration, I guess. Yeah, when the meadow is not juicy enough. This looks so hilarious. And here we are back to the products. First we start with the buffalo milk. So it won't be milk and milk and milk, but it will be milk from the cows, buffalo milk, and then goat milk as well. They don't speak about goat milk here, only about the buffalo milk. But there was an article where it was mentioned that the buffalo and the goats, they will have different types of milk with different products. And that's what we see here. So we won't get the buffalo milk as liquid in tanks. Okay, we see tanks here, but there are bottles that have been spawned, bottles in boxes on pallets. And I think that's how we get the buffalo milk. And yeah, it looks like as if we can sell it just like that, and it will be more expensive than cow milk, I guess. Usually, at least in Germany where I live, buffalo milk would be much more expensive than simple cow milk. But maybe in Asia it's different. We will see. And then we have the mozzarella. And yeah, I think this is a good idea. When I thought on buffalo and buffalo milk, I immediately thought on mozzarella. And the original mozzarella from Italia has always been mozzarella from water buffaloes. But later, when it got so popular, this mozzarella, and even people in Germany buy it every day and like to eat it, then it had to be mass-produced, and we have mainly cow milk mozzarella in our shops here in Central Europe. But you can buy buffalo mozzarella as well. And as I will go shopping tomorrow, I think I will maybe look out for some buffalo mozzarella, because I really get some appetite for this now, and it's quite delicious. Okay, so now we can go on to the interview with Roman Pelipenko. I guess he will be called more like Roman. And yeah, I believe he will be working in the Czech Republic Office of Giants, because there they also develop all the vehicles, so all the 3D artists are located there. And the name Roman Pelipenko, I don't know whether it's a typical Czech name. I really don't know. But it's not a German name, that is sure. And what I really like about this interview is, because when we saw those little cows, and I really liked them, how they jumped around. And I thought, oh, the artist who is doing this must be a genius. I would love to know more about him and to meet him. Maybe at FarmCon sooner or later. And yeah, now we get an interview. So I really feel like, oh wow, did Giants hear that I wanted to know more about this fantastic artist? What we don't learn in this interview is whether he is working with a small or big team, or whether he is doing it by himself, more or less. But he is the lead artist, and therefore I thank him a lot for his wonderful work. So now it's an interview, as I said, so there will be questions and answers, and then me saying something about it. Okay, the first question. Roman, walk us through your creative process when designing a new animal. How do you start? What are the key steps? And Roman says, the process begins with creating a comprehensive reference list from real-life animals to study their anatomy, behavior, and movement pattern in detail. Once this research phase is complete, we move on to crafting high poly models using sculpting software like ZBrush. The next step involves preparing a low poly model with accurate topology, making it ready for the texturing phase. So maybe we just have a look at it, how this, what we see, compares to what he was answering. So here we see the head area of such a buffalo with its horn, and at the left side we see only, it looks more like when you cut it from wood something. I don't know this special word for this thing, and you see all those little faces, and this is very low poly. And then in the center you see this horn, and it's very, very, very detailed, and you can't even guess where are those little faces. And so those faces are the polygons. And when it says high poly, it means there are quite a lot of them. And this horn is very, very high poly. You can't even guess where are those faces. And at the left side, you see the faces. And what I think what we can see here is, and it's a little bit different to what he is saying. They start with a very rough shape, which is very low poly, but that is nothing that he says here. And then they start sculpting in this ZBrush program, and that is what we see with the horn. And I guess they will do the same thing with the head and with the whole body and such. So the horn is that what he means with the high poly model. And here, I guess we see an image of the high poly model, just made out of this virtual clay, so it doesn't have a texture yet. And what we see is, we see those kid water buffaloes with this little tiny horns here. And they look a little bit like baby devils. And here we see the next stage about the texture. And he is saying something about the texture. In Substance Painter, this is a program, we bake the intricate details from the high poly model onto the low poly version and begin painting the textures. At this stage, the model is complete, but the next phase involves bringing it to life through animation. And what we see is, we have 4 parts, so to say. Let's start with the left one. We see 2 types of horns, like they are in the 3D model. And then we have this square, and it is like unfolded. So it would be as if this texture would be a sock that is on this horn, and then you pull off the sock, cut it open and lay it flat, and then this is the texture. And in this program that you are using for this, you define, okay, when you want to have it back on the horn, then this is the tip, and this is the right side, and this is the left side. So it will be sewn back together and put on like a sock onto the model. And that's what I'm also doing with my buildings. A little bit different, but the main principle is the same. And then in the center we have this young water buffalo. This is the 3D model now with a texture, and at the right side we have this texture. And so it's again like yeah, it has taken off the clothes, so to say, and the clothes have been cut open and lay flat. And to bring it on the model, you just have to bring it back and model it around the model. I hope this is understandable. Okay. And now we get a question that still has to do with this topic. And it is, what kind of research do you do before starting to model an animal? What is important to keep in mind? And Roman says, before we begin modeling an animal, it's important to find good reference and have a good understanding of the animal's anatomy. Since the sculpting is done by hand, it's easy to make small errors in such complex structures. That's why we do multiple iterations of checking at each stage. To ensure accuracy, we carefully study every aspect from the bone structure and muscle alignment, and even the tiniest detail, like the pores on the nose. Yeah, and somehow these tiniest details sometimes are most important, because when you get close to the animal, you want to see the animal, look into the face, and then this nose is very important. And when it's not properly done, the animal is not as good as with a good nose. So here we can see that is me speaking again. Here we can see the rather low poly model. So he calls it low poly, but I would speak about medium poly or so, because it can go much further down to low poly. And this low and medium poly always means the amount of faces, single faces that you have, or the amount of lines that you have in such a model, and that forms this model. And maybe you have seen low poly games where you can see all those faces very good, and you can count every single one of them. That is really low poly. And here it is not as high poly as in the beginning, but it's still quite a lot of polys, I would think. But to make it look realistic, you need a minimum amount of polygons. Polygons is the official word for those polys. And what you can see very good is you can see these red lines. And at the body, those red lines are not so close together. They are farther away, because you don't need such a density to shape the body, because it has bigger structures. And then in the face area, they get much denser. And this is obvious, because for making a nice face and eyes and ears, you just need much more details, and that's why they are much more red. And here we see the animal, the kid water buffalo with the texture coat, so to say. And now we are at the topic of animation. Yeah, and the question is, what challenges do you face when animating animals, especially when it comes to creating realistic movements? Roman says animation is a challenging process because it involves bringing a static model to life. The real test is making sure the animal's character shines through in the animation, allowing viewers to feel its personality and natural movements. And here I can only say kudos to Roman, because he is doing such a great work with this. I haven't seen the the water buffaloes moving, or lots of them moving a lot. But for the cows, you can already see it, and with the pigs, they move so smooth. And already in FS22, the movements of the animals are very, very nice. And they are much nicer than in other games where we have animals. Very often animations are rather clunky, especially for animals. And the FS22 animals, they move very, very nice. And what I have seen from the FS25 animals, the smaller ones, and so the movements are awesome. Okay, the little calves, they can hardly walk, but that's intentional. And so it's, yeah, they want to make it look clunky. But yeah, and it's difficult. It's so difficult. I tried to make an animation for a guy who was angling, and only just to raise the arm and move a little bit and move the head a little bit, that it doesn't look so stiff. It's difficult. So I'm in awe about this work, how they animate their animals. Okay, so enough of the fangirling. Let's go to the next question. How do you ensure that the animal interacts correctly with other game elements, such as the environment or other animals? And Roman says, the game features a system developed to ensure animals interact correctly by keeping them a defined space when they are aware of each other's position. And then a last question, what is an aspect that you are particularly proud of? What was unique or challenging about it? And Roman says, I'm particularly proud of the final integration of the animals into the game. It's incredibly rewarding to see them evolve from initial concepts into living creatures with their own unique personalities. And here we see two images. At the left side, we see an in-game footage with a woman standing there. Is this another hint that we will get third-person view when we walk around? We will see. They make a secret about it still. And this young woman interacts with child buffalo, I guess. And then behind it we see one of the babies, I guess, and then an adult one, and behind it again a child. So I think there are definitely 3 growing stages for the water buffaloes, even if the article only speaks of the adult ones and the babies. But we can see it clearly, I would say. And now the right one is a very interesting thing. We also have this function in FS22. When you activated the cheat console, you can press the F5 key and then you see all the collisions. And that's what we see here in FS25 for sure. And the animals, they have a box around them. And so when those boxes meet each other, the animals know, oh, there is another animals. And usually they shouldn't walk inside each other. Sometimes it happens, but it shouldn't. And yeah, what we cannot see is the nav mesh, the navigation mesh, that tells the animals, here, you may go here and there. The nav mesh is a plane that is situated on the ground for the whole pasture and the barn. And that's the area where the animals may go. What we see, but what has nothing to do with the animals, at least in FS22, Maybe they changed it, so this is something I'm not completely sure about it, but I guess they will still have this nav mesh. But what we see is this orange lines for the fence, and this is a collision for the people and for the vehicles. So we as people can't go through the fence, we can only jump over it, and the vehicles can't go, they get stuck when they try to drive through the fence. But the animals, they are not interested in those fences. They don't see them and they don't feel them. They only feel their nav mesh. This is how it works in FS22, and I'm rather sure it will stay the same principle, even if we get the function that we can make our own pastures with fences. Then I guess this will be automatically calculated into a nav mesh, but that is still completely speculation. So nobody of us still knows whether we will get the feature to build our own pastures. But there are some hints, and it could be possible. So yeah, those are the images about the interview, and let's just go back to have a last look on those. I go to the family. Yeah, here. They are so adorable. Yeah, what do you think about the water buffaloes? Are you looking forward to having your own water buffalo? I would love to have one in my garden. But I think it would not be good for my garden and for the water buffalo also. So maybe I will have it in the game when we have the game in autumn. Yeah, but I really like them. Okay, and write in the comments below, what do you think about those water buffaloes? Okay, I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.